Uh, I know.
Yep.
I'm off to a good start this morning.
Well, I'm not even kidding. So, if you're listening to the audio version of this, and Paul sounds a little bit different, we'll explain that in a second.
Hmm.
But when we first, dialed in connection, my first thought, swear on this, is that Paul got a new Dell laptop
Oh,
because
because of because
the
of the up
cameras,
nose. Yeah, 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 yeah.
the
Right.
upward.
It's about the same level of quality too.
Yeah. So what are you on?
So this is the Lenovo Think Smart display. So this is a Teams display, right?
Mm,
I think it's the first one. It's super limited at the moment. Like if you ever paid attention to the list of features that are going to be in this thing, none of them are there. Like right now, it does meetings like this. We could chat. Although how are you going to type on a thing?
yeah.
It's for calls and video calls like we're
Hmm.
doing here, and you can access your calendar, your schedule, and then of course your contacts, so you can make the calls. But I was a little bit confused about this thing because Microsoft marketed it as being something you would use alongside your PC, and that's how Lenovo was also marketing it, of course. And the theory here is that you have this dedicated device, which is sort of like a modern take on a phone, like an
Hmm.
office phone, and it frees your computer for doing whatever work you're doing. So we could kind of communicate and work on a document together or whatever on the PC, and I wouldn't have to worry about having to, like this becomes like the second screen just for Teams.
Yeah.
So this will be the last time we use it for the podcast. So no, I mean it's a small screen, so it's like an 8-inch screen or whatever, and I think it's 1280 by 720. It's not it's running AOSP, the open source version of Android.
Hmm.
It's very limited, but this is not ideal. I mean, obviously, like I think I'd almost want to put it up high. I don't know what the point of this thing is. I don't know. So
Yeah. I got to tell you, now that we've got that out of the way,
mhm,
there were like, so this over the weekend, I got
mhm,
a tip from somebody that said Panos Panay was issued a bunch of restricted stock units from Sonos.
right.
And typically that means they're either like a director or they're joining the company. I'm
Mhm.
expecting that sometime this week or whenever they'll eventually announce that he's probably joining their board or whatever. Satya Nadella is on the board of Starbucks. It's not that, I mean, it's a big deal probably for him, but I don't think it's like some detraction, like he's leaving the
No,
company.
no, no, no. Well, I mean, we hope not. But
Yeah.
look, this is, as I said in the comments to the article, this is what rich people do.
Yeah. They
They're
join
on, they're,
boards.
no, really. I mean, they're on the boards of other companies. So when you're rich and connected and successful, this is what happens. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So here was like my, I don't know if you want to call it ethical dilemma or whatever. So
Hmm.
if we jumped all the way back to like Surface RT2, like I've effectively made a career out of like leaking or getting like on the agenda of leaking all of Surface stuff, which is effectively Panos's work.
Hmm.
And so like I was sitting there this weekend and he was probably thinking like, all right, on Monday or whatever day this week, I'm finally going to get to announce something that nobody's leaked. And then here comes Brad and he found the SEC documentation
Yes,
that
yes,
says
yes,
I'm
yes.
joining the board of Sonos before I got to announce it. And he's probably going to just send the hit ninjas after me. That's,
I mean, it doesn't seem to have affected your relationship with the service team. I mean, if anything, I have suffered far more for my criticisms or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah.
So anyways, I did reach out to Microsoft. They did not comment on anything.
Mhm.
So we will see what this is, but it's pretty clear. It's the Panos. It's
Look, we
not the
don't think he's leaving
Microsoft.
Microsoft, but I mean, yikes. Can you imagine after all this stuff that's, there's no way. Like he just took over
Yeah, no, no,
with,
no. I really don't think so. I mean, they just did a reorg. They just gave him more power effectively inside of Microsoft. He's now
oh, wow.
running
Yeah. Yeah.
Windows. Now he's got part of Azure, or formerly known as Azure. He's got, I believe, Project Reunion now under. Like, it would be
He
shocking.
previously controlled 0% of Microsoft. Now he controls 16%.
Yeah, which
It's
for a
big.
trillion-dollar company, I mean, that's
For a single individual is
yeah.
rather incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
anyways, that news kind of dropped over the weekend. We will wait and see what the official, um, you know, verdict is the wrong word, but whatever outcome is of all
Yep.
this. So, looks like Amazon got some more Prime deliveries from the governments of Germany and Canada over the weekend. As they,
The list of regulatory bodies that are looking into this company is unbelievable, and they are they're under more scrutiny than any of the other companies. Like we read, obviously Apple was spending the news in the past week for the Epic stuff, Google as well, but if you were to look at all of the different, the four big tech companies that are currently under a lot of antitrust scrutiny, Amazon by far is under the most scrutiny by the most regulatory bodies. Like in the United States alone, it's like 2 U.S. states, the FTC, the U.S. Department of Justice, House, some House, I can't remember something in the Congress.
Yep.
Obviously, the EC, the European Community. Jesus, losing my mind. The European Commission over in Europe. I mean, it's unbelievable. So now, Canada and Germany, which, by the way, Germany apparently is Amazon's second biggest market.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Like to buy stuff in the Germanys.
Well, if there were any lawyers at Amazon thinking, we're not real busy right now, and I hope I don't get cut during these economic downturns, I don't think you have to worry too much right now. I think you got...
These companies all suck. They're all terrible. All of them. They're just terrible. Amazon's like this company that has this chokehold on commerce, and they see the data they see is what people are buying. Yeah. So they just make those products themselves, and they undercut the people that were selling them before. Mm-hmm. It's this beautiful control of a market. It's kind of Google has done the same thing with online search. I mean, just in a broader sense, and they have not been successful in the e-commerce part of it at all. But I mean, they same thing. They've seen what services looks like people are searching for travel services, which people are not today. But a year or two ago they were, and Google has a travel service.
Yeah, I mean, Google effectively has a stranglehold on the general broad search of the world, right? Twitter's not perfect, but Twitter sort of has not a stranglehold, but at least a good fire hose of like news and like reactions to news. And Amazon absolutely has the fire hose of online commerce. They can see, because they don't only sell their own products, that they're the front for just millions of other products.
And I think we can agree that Facebook has a monopoly on conspiracy theories. So, it kind of works out nice. Everyone's got something.
Yep. Microsoft's got...
Microsoft has the enterprise. I mean, and
productivity
whether
software. Microsoft
controls the enterprise to the degree that, Google does search or Amazon does... Amazon doesn't control commerce, obviously. I mean, of commerce overall, they're probably a small percentage, but they are a dominant, superpower. I mean, do they abuse their power in the same way that Amazon does? I mean, Slack thinks they do.
Yeah, so Slack does think they do. And then Microsoft's going to throw themselves right into the rigmarole by buying TikTok, and then which we haven't even. That's been that. I'm sure it's still happening. I think Microsoft would come out and say, "Hey, we're no longer pursuing this."
Right. I mean, right. So there's been a lot of talk on the government side, but I think behind the scenes, Microsoft is trying to see if they can make this happen, which we've already said is stupid, but I can't remember the last time Microsoft listened to me, so here we are.
That's why we're not on the board of companies.
That's exactly right. Yeah, no one's asking me to join the board of Sonos. I mean, I've only spent thousands of dollars on their products. I don't know what I have to do, but yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of a nice little wrap up of the weekend. Not a whole lot else went on. It's actually relatively quiet. It's actually the first day of school for my kid today, which we're all...
Man, that seems so early to me. Is that normal?
It was supposed to actually be last Monday, and they delayed it a week so that they could get more of their like SOPs down of how they're gonna cattle the kids around.
So 2 weeks from today, my daughter will move into UNC Charlotte, and as I've ruefully joked many times, 10 days after that we will move her out, and then she will, I guess we'll see what happens. But so I'm going to be off that week. By the way, we haven't really discussed this too much, but
that's good to know.
I'm going to take that week off.
All right.
Because I'm so sad my daughter's leaving. Hold on, let me try that again.
There's gonna be
I'm nervous about her leaving because of what's going on in the world.
And
it should be an exciting time, but
I joked with my kid and it didn't go over well. I was like, okay, when you come home from school, you're gonna have to stay in your room all by yourself in quarantine by yourself. She's like, what? Actually,
so good news for me. North Carolina just left the quarantine list for the state of Pennsylvania. So when we come back from North Carolina, unless something changes, which it probably will with 20,000 students descending on UNC Charlotte, we should be good, which is nice because we were going to do this regardless, but it'd be nice not to have to worry about that.
Be nice not to have to worry about talking to you for the rest of the day on this little machine you've got.
Oh, but it's so cute.
Mm-hmm.